After 5 years at Barcelona, Frenkie de Jong has gained many fans and many haters. It's undeniable that he's one of the most talented midfielders in the world, but even after all of these years at Barcelona, there are still many fans doubting him. And deservedly so, cause to be fair, Frenkie de Jong sucks. And why? Well, let's find out. First of all, Frenkie de Jong lacks consistency, and one of the main reasons why are his injuries. Frenkie de Jong is a really injury-prone player. He has now had 5 seasons at Barcelona, and only in his first season he was completely injury-free. But that is not the worst of it. Because you see, in the first couple of seasons at Barça, Frenkie only picked up some minor injuries. In the 22-23 season, however, he picked up 2 injuries that each kept him on the sidelines for about a month. And in the 23-24 season, he even picked up 3 injuries and basically spent more time in the hospital than on the pitch. So Frenkie de Jong has become more injury prone as the years have passed by. He might be world class when he's on the pitch, but what good is that if he's not even there for half of the season? Frenkie de Jong is becoming Barcelona's midfield version of Ansu Fati. And if he keeps on being this injury prone, then I don't see why Barcelona wouldn't just sell him. But there are more reasons as to why Frenkie de Jong sucks, one of which are his wages. Frenkie de Jong signed his current contract under the previous Barcelona president Josep Maria Bartomeu. It is no secret that Bartomeu handed out big contracts to all of his players. And up to this day, Frenkie de Jong is still earning around 721,000 euros a week, according to multiple sources, making him one of the highest paid players in all of Europe. He is even receiving extra loyalty bonuses right now, just because he agreed to cut down his salary back during the COVID pandemic. Now, I'm not saying that this is Frenkie de Jong's fault, it's mostly Bartomeu who's to blame for this. All I'm saying is that if Barcelona want to cash in on someone, then Frenkie de Jong is their best option, because he is still worth around 70 million euros and because of those stupendously high wages. However, back onto football itself. Frenkie de Jong might be one of the most talented midfielders in the world, but let's be honest, if he had really established himself at Barcelona, then there wouldn't be rumors of him leaving Barcelona every summer again. So has he really settled in at Barcelona? It's weird, cause he has had numerous world-class performances over the last years, and he's had shouts for being the best midfielder in the world, including from me myself. So what is the actual problem with Frenkie de Jong on the pitch? Well, he might be the best in the world when it comes to being press resistant on the ball, moving the ball forwards and playing deep balls behind the defense. However, defensively, he's a liability. Sure, he's good at tackling and making interceptions, but we're talking about positioning right here. A good midfielder knows where to be at what time to maintain a solid midfield structure while defending. And this definitely goes for midfielders that play deeper, like Frenkie de Jong, Busquets, but also Xavi and even Iniesta, and nowadays Gavi and even recent La Masia stars like Marc Bernal all have better positioning than Frenkie de Jong. And yeah, I get that Frenkie de Jong is not a single pivot and that you should ideally play him in a double pivot. And guess what? That's the way Hansi Flick likes to play. But even last season under Xavi, Barcelona often played in a double pivot with Frenkie de Jong. Even then, Barcelona's midfield was often so easy to penetrate for opponents. Think about Barcelona's game against Girona at home, where they lost 2-4 and just got run over. In that double pivot with 2 players, you of course want one creative player, while the other one should be a real defensive powerhouse. Last season we saw Frenkie playing there together with Gundogan, but Gundogan is also rather the creative one. Also together with Oriol Romeu, but Oriol Romeu simply sucks, and also together with Andreas Christensen. But if we're being honest, Christensen isn't really good enough technically to really be a Barcelona midfielder. We have, however, never seen a Frenkie de Jong Gavi double pivot, which could maybe work given Gavi's defensive work ethic and de Jong's creativity. Well, even then, I still think that Frenkie de Jong isn't even the best option here. I think both Gundogan and Pedri have better positioning while defending and roam less, making it easier for the midfield to have a solid structure. At the same time, they are just as good or even better than Frenkie de Jong in terms of reading the game. So as Frenkie de Jong is unreliable because of his injuries, earns huge wages, still can be sold for a good price, and Barcelona have a stacked midfield, it might not be a bad idea to get rid of Frenkie de Jong this summer. I know it would suck to never see Frenkie de Jong under Hansi Flick, but I really think that de Jong isn't necessary for Flick's Barcelona. Barcelona's midfield is so stacked with world-class players that it might not be a bad idea to let someone go for the sake of giving more minutes to the other players. I mean, a Gavi-Pedri double pivot might work well, Gundogan is so versatile that he can play in any role in midfield, and La Masia provides Barcelona with so much quality too. Marc Bernal, Marc Casado, and there are still others out there like Pau Prim that are just perfect for that double pivot. Anyway, I might be wrong with this take on Frenkie de Jong, and it would be sad to see him go, but I really think that Barcelona are better off without Frenkie de Jong right now. So, Força Barça I guess, and of course, have a good day.